Nik, dito ka na. Nik, ilapagtuktok.
One day, two frogs were hopping in and out of a watering hole and accidentally hopped in an extremely deep hole. They tried to leap out, but to no avail. So they began down their throats until other frogs heard them and came to help. The other frogs looked over into the hole and said, the hole was too deep for them to help, but both frogs kept leaping up the sides of the hole. The other frogs, leaning over the hole and waving their front legs, began to yell to the frogs to just give up and die. That there was no hope of them getting out of the hole. But both frogs kept leaping and trying to get out of the hole. They leaped for hours, and one of the frogs gave up. He was so exhausted and died. The other frog in the hole kept leaping, but the other frogs, leaning over the hole, kept yelling and waving their front legs for him to stop and give up. But the frog kept leaping, trying to get out of the hole. Finally, the frog leaped so high that he was able to leap to the top of the hole and use his legs to push himself up out of the hole. The other frog said, even if we told you to give up and that there was no hope for you getting out of the hole, you kept leaping. The frog that got out of the hole thanked the other frogs for egging him on. The other frogs did not know that this frog was deaf. This afternoon, I speak and say my narratives, deaf, in terms of theme and position, to popular teen climate activist Greta Thunberg, who holds older generations and political leaders accountable to today's global warming and the dangers it poses in all of us. Mine is taking the challenge that what our parents, leaders, and elders have missed to do or did too far from what's expected of them. This generation, including us graduates, shall not only watch and partner with them do their acts, but also help them rethink on long-term and more sustainable solutions to issues of the day, such as climate change and poverty. This, I challenge this batch of graduates as a matter of responsibility. We minimize name-calling, moderate blaming, make decent hating, stop shaming, do intelligent ranting, embracing our humble achievements like these diplomas that we received and will treasure. And also, face what is left of this world by using reason, data, common sense, turning all of our strengths into buckets of benefits our families and our neighbors can benefit from. I don't want to sound preachy like an activist does, just as I can't do a Greta Thunberg, and dare our leaders and elders to be held accountable to the world's ills and unresolved issues, because I must admit, we must admit, that we are also part of what is happening around us. Since our elementary years, our families, our school administrators, our teachers, our friends, and classmates have given us graduates a sense of optimism, inspiring us to do better, to finish a college degree, to be entrepreneurial, to live a life that is full of life. Since our high school days, our families, our school administrators, our mentors, our barkada, and classmates have given us a sense of hope and strength. that no specific Facebook post or best-selling book has ever given us. To this, we graduates say, thank you for being you. According to Donaville Alpong, in her welcome remarks, SPSPS and the guide of education it gave us will matter. St. Paul, our alma, matters. We will leave the walls of SPSPS with sense of optimism, full of hopes that we may merit from what St. Paul has taught us, that we learn and still to be unlearned may help us provide our elders the basic needs they deserve as our way of giving back to them. Later, in the ceremony, we will take oath as full-fledged SPSPS alumni that, among others, we will assist in its development as a higher education institution. Also, later in the ceremony, we will all in unison pledge loyalty to St. Paul's School of Professional Studies. But, in closing, shall we all stand? Face our administrators, mentors, parents, and guests, and together we tell them, thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon.